Good morning. This is meteorologist and master student Allison Krantz with a Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for August 24th, 2025. Looking ahead to the fire potential impacts today, hot and dry across the north with wet storms below. A mix of wet, dry storms, however, in southernmost Idaho and southern western Wyoming. Moisture will push north today and Monday with isolated storms over southern and central Idaho and western Wyoming by Sunday, Monday. Wet in all areas by Tuesday. The past 24 hours, we've seen precipitation in the quarter of an inch up to 2 inches range for spots scattered across Nevada, Utah, and the Arizona Strip. Yesterday was a high lightning day with a lot of strikes in central and western Nevada, the Arizona Strip, and across Utah. The most recent strikes have been occurring this morning in the Arizona Strip and south central Nevada. Great Basin fire activity saw most of the new starts in eastern Idaho and across Utah. The new and emerging fires of import include the Rim Trail in western Wyoming, Wide Mouth in central Utah, and then the Split Top Fire in Idaho, which started yesterday evening and already has burned 4,000 acres. Yesterday saw initial attack activity for 17 fires of a combined 4,706 acres. New large fire growth was seen of 11,509 acres. Current priority fires include the Dollar Lake, Rock, Cottonwood Peak, Willow Creek, Buckley Draw, Beulah, Monroe Canyon, and Box. The past 7 days has seen precipitation across the basin with totals in the quarter of an inch to 2 inches for parts of western Nevada, the Arizona Strip, and Utah. This is still below the normal 30-day percent of precipitation for most of the basin, except northwestern Nevada, northern Idaho, and the northern half of western Wyoming, which is above normal. The RAWS ERC percentile map shows values dropping across most of Utah, with stations leaving the 97 plus percentile down to lower thresholds. Idaho and northwestern Nevada saw rising ERC values, however, as they have been hot and dry recently. Some specifics include the central Nevada mountains, which are slightly above their maximum currently, but should see a drop to below average as they receive some precipitation over the next 7 days. The southwest Utah desert is also above their maximum, but they will be seeing a much larger plummet to well below average for this time of year as they receive higher precipitation totals. Satellite this morning shows a four-corner high and widespread cloud coverage across the basin. Precipitation is currently falling in northeastern Nevada, northern Utah, the Arizona Strip, and southeastern Nevada. Some lightning strikes have been occurring with those storms in southeastern Nevada and in the Arizona Strip. The smoke forecast for today shows smoke across northern Idaho and coming off the fires in western Wyoming. Monday looks to be the same, with more smoke now down to cover most of Idaho and more smoke coming off the western Wyoming fires. Today, four-corner high and hot and dry for most of Idaho and western Wyoming. Widespread storms for Utah and Nevada. High risk for lightning has been issued for eastern and southern Idaho as well as western Wyoming. The rest of Idaho remains in moderate risk. Most of Utah now in little to no risk, with southern Nevada and the southern Sierra Front also in little to no risk. The rest in low risk. Thunderstorm outflow gusts will be possible across Nevada, Utah, the Arizona Strip, and southern Idaho, with storms in the area. Relative humidities rising in Utah and Nevada into the 20s and 30s. Northern Idaho on the drier end in the high teens. Temperatures will be cooler for Nevada and Utah, but warmer in Idaho. Precipitation probability across all of Utah, Nevada, the Arizona Strip, and southernmost Idaho. Monday, storms for the entire basin, which is now spread into Idaho. They will be on the wetter side for Utah, Nevada, the Arizona Strip, and western Wyoming. A mix of wet-dry for Idaho. High risk for lightning issued in northern Idaho. All of Nevada and Utah now in little to no risk. Idaho and western Wyoming move to low risk, except for Payette, which remains in moderate. Another day with thunderstorm outflow gusts in Nevada, Utah, and parts of Idaho. Relative humidities now in the 20s to 30s for almost the entire basin. Temperatures a lot cooler across the basin, primarily in the low to high 80s. Precipitation chances for almost the entire basin except northernmost Idaho. Tuesday, another day of widespread wet storms for the entire basin. Idaho and western Wyoming now moved to little to no risk, except for northern Idaho being in low risk and Payette staying in moderate. Thunderstorm outflow gusts, once again for Nevada, Utah, and southern Idaho. Minimum relative humidity is now all the way up in the high 40s to 50s in some areas, everywhere seeing at least high 20s to low 30s. Temperatures much cooler across the basin, in the high 70s through high 80s. Precipitation chances for the entire basin. The 3-day forecasted precipitation accumulation shows widespread measurable precipitation for the basin. A lot of areas seeing anywhere from 1/4 of an inch up to 2.5 inches. Wednesday, highest precipitation chances for parts of Utah, Idaho, and western Wyoming. Drier for Nevada and the Arizona Strip. All but northern Idaho, which is in low risk, will be moved to little to no risk. Precipitation looking likely for Utah, eastern Nevada, and Idaho on Friday. Drier for western Nevada. All of Idaho now moved to little to no risk. However, northwest Nevada will now be drying out and moving to low risk. Friday, dry conditions for Utah and southern Nevada. No precipitation expected. Further drying out will move more areas in northwestern Nevada into low risk. Saturday, dry conditions returning across the basin as the days of precipitation come to an end. Southwest Idaho will now also move into low risk. 7-day predicted precipitation accumulation shows precipitation across the basin of primarily 1/4 of an inch or higher. Highest totals in the 1.25 inches up to 4 inches for most of Utah, western Wyoming, and Idaho. The NOAA CPC 8 to 14-day outlook shows near normal temperatures for most of the basin, except northernmost Idaho, which will be in the above average range. Precipitation totals will be above normal for all of the basin, except southernmost Nevada, which is in the near normal range. And that is the end of today's briefing. If you have any questions, please reach out to the contacts below. Hope you all enjoy the last of your weekend.